the gun. Manning lets it fly. It's caught by Thomas. There's the record for Peyton Manning.
And welcome in, everybody, to the Neigh-borhood Pregame Show, which is MHRT Networks' brand new pregame show. Today, we're taking on the Eagles at home. I'm here with Glenn Hauser and Dave Full Glassman. How's it going, guys?
Going great. I'm excited for today. I am really
wonderful.
So make sure that you like, subscribe, share, comment, turn on notifications so you can get alerted anytime we go live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Now, if you want to support the network, you can go right ahead. You have that option. It's down below in the description. Also, tune into all of our podcasts. Broncos Talk, which is every Tuesday at 7654. The flagship show, the MHRT podcast, every Thursday at 7654. The Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast every Friday at 7654. And again, the Neigh-borhood, which airs before every Broncos game, about an hour and a half before every game. So today we have a home game against the Eagles. We're on a 2-game win streak. We win this game and we go 6-4 heading into the bye. How important is it to win this game?
Huge.
Huge.
Huge. It's huge. I feel hope. I have hope. I have hope again. And I would.
It's better than last week, Dave. So this is
you were a half glassman last week.
Empty. My glass was empty.
Full empty.
I think this is a massive game for the Broncos. Obviously, it's a home game. We have some guys that are going to be coming back after the break, after the bye week. We have the same number of wins as all the other teams in the AFC West at this point. Some have already had their bye. So we need to keep not only the momentum, but we need to keep pace with the other teams. And not to mention teams like the Patriots, teams like the Browns, Steelers. I know Browns and Steelers are losing right now, but we have to keep pace with that, those 3 wild card spots that are going to be available this year as well. So it's a massive, massive game and a winnable one at that.
Well, I was going to say that, the great part is, as bad as we thought we played in that 4-game losing streak, there's still a very, very real possibility that we win the West. We're right there. Everybody is right there in the AFC West. Now, again, I think that the best team in the West right now is probably the Chargers. But if we play how we did against Dallas, I don't see how we can't beat them. You know what I mean?
So we've got 5 games coming up against Western teams after the after this bye. I mean, yeah. So there's a real possibility. I mean, the Chiefs have played very poorly all season, so those are not only a winnable game. I mean, at the beginning of the season, we were hoping just to split. That's a possible sweep. The Chargers, they look incredible one week, and then the following week they look like a disaster. Raiders have been a little shaky, but they've had some instability in their at their headquarters. So, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. But we have to win games like today in order for that to even become a possibility.
So Avatar was saying that he wasn't going to tell us what jersey he was wearing until game day. He's got his Atwater jersey on today.
I love it.
That's good. Landon says we got the color rush on today. Yeah, we do. That's why I'm wearing the D right here. It's not the right color, but
I got the old school too.
I'm wearing this jersey again because we haven't lost since I've been wearing it. So until we lose, I'm wearing this every week.
You just jinxed it right there.
I don't believe in
Mobad says, what is up, homie? So let's take a quick look around the NFL before we dig into the Eagles game here. Mm-hmm. Dallas is curb stomping the Falcons 36-3. The Colts are up 20-9 on the Jaguars. The Patriots are up 31-7 on the Browns. I didn't see that one coming. Buffalo's up 31-3 on the Jets. You got Detroit beating Pittsburgh 16-13. Woo, that looks fun. 4.5 minutes left in the third quarter in that game. Tennessee's up 20-6 on New Orleans. Washington is up on Tampa Bay 16-13. That's what we got going on so far. I think all the AFC West games are 3:00 today, right?
No,
Or
the Chiefs Raiders
the afternoon game.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Chiefs Raiders. Okay, so we have. I pulled up the injury report, and there's not as many out as I thought there was. But I'm going to go ahead and read them off. So Drew Lock is out. He's still on the COVID protocol. Glasgow's on injured reserve. Ojemudia is still out. Sternot is out. He's on the COVID list as well. Ojemudia is on the COVID-19 list, though. So I don't think that was so much his injury. I think he's the COVID-19 protocols. Austin Schlottman is out. He's on the COVID list as well. Let's see. Bobby Massey and Garrett Bowles are both out. Both with ankles. And then Duke Dawson, is he on practice squad again?
He is back to the squad.
I thought,
and then
did he get re-signed? I heard he got waived. I didn't hear if he got re-signed.
Yeah, he got waived and then practice squad, I think. And then Pita Peno. I'm not even gonna try. Nope. That's the best you're gonna get out of me because I'm not even gonna try. So I'm assuming we're gonna see Cam Fleming at right tackle and Calvin Anderson at left tackle, kind of like last game. That would be my assumption.
That's more than a safe assumption. Just also to add to your update, Schlottman is on COVID, the COVID list as well, and Boone and Ajim are inactive today.
Oh, I just had him as questionable. Okay. I mean, I want to say that those are massive losses, but have we even seen them at all this year? Boone, we haven't really seen, and Ajim, we haven't really seen either. All right, so KB82 says, what's up, fellas? Has our run blocking finally found the right formula, or did Dallas's D-line just have a bad game? And that's what I've been trying to figure out, because we saw last year when our running game started to get some momentum was when you had the guards pulling. And in the last game against Dallas, that's what we saw from Reisner and from Miners was the guards pulling and opening up those running lanes. So I'm hoping that we stick with it. Now, I don't know how much of a difference this is going to make, but Shermer is out with COVID as well. So you have Mike Shula calling the plays. I don't think fundamentally there's going to be a change, but I'm hoping that there's some sort of change as far as the on-the-fly plays and figuring out what way is the best way to open up the running game, things like that.
The sequencing. Instead of run, pass, maybe we'll pass, run.
There we go. Perfect.
I think, going back to Kenny's question about, was it a combination of the run blocking or the D-line having a bad game? And I think it's really a combination of both. And one of the things that we saw last week that we haven't seen in recent weeks that has really upset the fan base, quite honestly, is that they didn't abandon the run last week. They allowed it to have those breakthrough runs and to control the clock. I mean, the Broncos had the clock more than 2/3 of the game. I mean, to have over 40 minutes of possession is massive. I mean, I keep using that word, but I mean, there's no other way to truly describe it. I mean, and then when the defense did get on the field, they were just incredible because they were fresh. We weren't making mistakes. We did get a couple breaks there, including the block punt that ended up back in our hands and continuing that drive. But I'm hoping that Shula, pulls out some of those plays from 2015 Carolina Panthers and also, pays close attention to what worked last week and we go from there.
Yeah. KB2 says Chase Young towards ACL. Washington just scored another touchdown, so they're up 22-13 right now.
Didn't see that one coming either.
Neither did I. There's a lot of ACLs that have been getting torn and ripped and all kinds of, and it sucks. Like, there's really nothing you can do to prevent it. I mean, things happen, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. So one of the reasons why I had Teddy Bridgewater and Jalen Hurts passing off to the running backs was because I believe that the key to this game is going to be Denver stopping the run and Denver establishing the run. Like out of everybody on the Eagles team, the most dangerous person is Jalen Hurts. And the reason I say that is because he's not like a Lamar Jackson or a Michael Vick, but he can run the ball. Like you let him get outside, you give him an open lane, and he's going to take it. We've also seen that when teams are able to stop the run, Hurts has been able to throw the ball, but I don't know if he's been able to be as successful throwing the ball when he's against a top 10 defense. And it doesn't seem like Denver's defense is top 10, but it is. Against the run, I think we're number 2 right now. Stopping the run.
Right, and scoring defense. And, you mentioned Hurts. He actually has more rushing yards than both Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. So he is a formidable player and a formidable weapon. And his size.
Carolyn.
He's a big man. Let's read Carolyn's question. And welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, she says, "What up, guys? This is my first time on. Just hoping that McManus, the kicker, has a good day today. I do too. I don't expect him to be perfect, but at the same time, you kind of do. Like he's that kicker that's got the leg that could set the record if he's given the opportunity, but then he pulls random ones either to the left or to the right, and you're like, all right, so why should we let you kick a 70-yarder? Like if you're going to pull a 47-yarder.
Well, and that's the thing. He gets so indignant. He's so cocky standing there. I mean, he was giving like the evil eye at the sideline when he wanted to try that kick at the end of the first half, which really was unlikely he was going to make it. And the likelihood of someone potentially with this special teams group running it, catching it in the end zone and running it back past these linemen that aren't used to tackling, that would have changed everything in that game. And but you're right. If you're going to stand there and glare at the coach, you better make that extra point.
Yeah. And so then the question that I have is finding out that Shermer's on the COVID list and he's not going to be calling plays of the game. How much influence has he had on the offensive foundation for this game or the scheme for this game? And is this potentially, if Mike Shula can keep the offense rolling and keep the run game going, is this going to be a precursor to Mike Shula replacing Pat Shurmur?
I don't think so personally. I think if we're going to clean house, we're going to get a whole new crew. We're not going to keep Shula. We're not going to keep Shurmur. Maybe Fangio can make it I don't know. We need to see some changes this offseason in the coaching staff.
If the Broncos continue to win, I just can't see that they're going to make a change at any coordinator position, especially since they haven't already. When things were really going south and a change was in order, I don't see it happening, and as long as we keep winning, I'll be fine with whomever is calling the plays, as long as they do a good job. They really mixed things up. The running game was great. They had Jerry Jeudy doing this, and I don't even know the terminology for it, but when he was going into, apparently he used to do this play a lot in college, but he'd go into motion and then kind of curl around, and the defense was a little confused as to how to handle that. And he did have a couple of receptions from on the side, swing passes there. So the creativity last week was great, and the effort by the running backs. I mean, they had to have been very, very sore that next day for sure.
Well, and I know that back in, was it 2015? I think it was 2015. You had Chuck Pagano as the head coach of the Colts. And Chuck Pagano, I would say, is not a bad coach. But by the end of the season, the GM had stepped in and said, listen, we're not going to let you go, but you have to fix the coordinator position. Like, there's something going on with your coordinators. We need you to let them go, and then we'll go from there. So I have no issues if we continue to play. If the defense plays like it did against Dallas in the first 3 games, I have no issues with Fangio staying. I still have an issue with Shurmur staying. One game is not going to change my mind on Shurmur. So I don't have any issues with Fangio staying and then like bringing up Shula or maybe changing a little bit and picking a different coordinator that Fangio wants. But I think at the end of the season, something is going to have to change. And if we have a winning record, I still think that at least 2 coordinators, Shermer, McMahon, he needs to leave. Because we've had like even calling a few good games, that's all well and good. But 75% of the games or the games that you called were just poor play calling. It was like your first 12 plays that you call in the game, 12, 15, 20, whatever it is. Those are the ones that are supposed to be successful because those are the ones you've been planning for all week. And that's where we're getting bad Shermers. He's like, those first scripted play calls are terrible. They're not working. I don't exactly know what the problem is, but those are the scripted plays that are supposed to work to get your offense in rhythm, and we're doing the opposite. So even if we keep Fangio, I still think Shermer needs to go.
I think so too. And if look at Ronald, though, I think he might have a little bit of an ego thing here. If it was Fangio's pick to bring in Shermer, how much is he going to bang the drum?
Now, last I checked, Elway was the one that wanted Shermer and not Fangio.
That Vic was told to hire him, yeah.
But we could be spreading rumors, and that's fine because I don't care. Spread it all you want.
We're not professional.
We're not professional. I don't care. Go ahead. So that's what I think. I kind of want to go into this the hot 5 we had on Broncos Talk about the Eagles. See what he has to say, and then we'll go from there. Does that work?
Do it.
Sounds good.
What's up, everybody? It's the Philly Sports Guy, and I'm here to give you my hot 5 on what the Eagles got to do this week to beat the Denver Broncos. First off, we need a great game from Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has been getting better week to week. He seems to be going through his progressions much better, and I expect that he's going to have another great week coming up forward. That's going to be our number 1. He's got to have a fantastic week. Number 2, we have to stop the run against Denver. Denver has got a fantastic running back there, Melvin Gordon. That's right, Melvin Gordon. We got to make sure to hold him down. I think that we can get to Teddy Bridgewater, and I don't think that he's as great a quarterback as some of the previous quarterbacks that Denver has had in their history. So my expectation is if we stop the run from Denver, we'll be able to do great things. Conversely, my third spot is that we have to do well against the run. We have to do well running the football. The Eagles are not very known to be running the football, but for the last couple of weeks, we have been doing so. And I know that Denver has got a fantastic defense. I believe they're 9th against the rush right now, and they did a great job on holding back the running backs from Dallas. However, we got to get 100 yards of rushing plus, and that's going to include all of our running backs, specifically Howard and Gainwell and Boston Scott. All have to do pretty well against them. Our fourth take is that we have to put pressure on Bridgewater. We got to get him moving his feet and make him feel uncomfortable in the pocket. The Eagles have a great front 4, but I think that we need to do a couple of extra blitzes to be able to make sure that we can get there and get to the quarterback, at least get him moving and shaking so that he doesn't get real steady. I know that our quarterbacks that have been going up against us have been doing 80% passing. We need to make sure that that doesn't happen this week, or else Teddy Bridgewater is good enough where he's going to be able to pick us apart. And the fifth thing on how the Eagles are going to beat Denver is we have to finish our drives. We cannot kick field goals. Once we get into the red zone, we got to put, as they say in Canada, put the puck in the net. We got to get touchdowns. We cannot have field goals here. We got to make sure that when we score, we're scoring 7 points and not 3 points. That's my Philly Sports Guy top 5 ways that we're going to beat Denver. And I would expect them all to happen because when we come to town, we travel strong. There's going to be a whole bunch of us. I'm bringing 100 people myself to come to Denver, and we're going to be taking over that stadium. It's going to be our house by the time we're done. Go Birds! Yeah!
It's the same thing I said on. I would say it's the same thing I said on. It's the same thing I said on Broncos Talk. Like, you better bring more than 100 if you're wanting to take over a section.
I know, but he's wearing the throwback Ron Jaworski jersey. I mean, I love that segment. That was
and he dresses up with face paint and everything to every, because he does the Eagles. He also does. I'm not even going to try to name them. Hockey, soccer, basketball. He does all of them. So he's a pretty cool guy. I think his description is down below. If it's not, then I'll add it when we're done here. But I think that his first point was accurate. I would say Jalen Hurts throughout this year has gotten better every game. He's the leading passer and the leading rusher on the team right now. So I think the key to doing anything is stopping Jalen Hurts.
Oh, without question. I mean, even it seems like he gets the same amount of respect from the team or from the front office as like a Tua gets. Like they're always looking over his shoulder for the bigger, better, prettier girl. Whatever you want to call it. But he has improved, and he's improved with some of these guys going down with injuries. He hasn't had Miles Sanders for a couple of games, and so he's made up for it himself. And he's got a lot of size to him. And that is the one thing when he starts taking off, he's going to be hard to put down before, he's able to convert first downs. So he's going to be a formidable opponent for sure today, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. We have so we've had now I lost his name. Is it Jay Brady? Jay Bryan? The guy that's commenting.
Jay Weaver?
His name is Jeff Bryan, right?
Yeah.
Jay, okay. Jay Bryan, he's been commenting, oh man, what, 2-3 weeks? He's been in the chats.
Yeah.
And he actually got Glenn's tickets for the game today, and he's sitting there in the stands. So we wanted to bring him in.
Yeah. Welcome.
And see how it's going.
A lot of Eagles fans, man.
Now, I know, yeah, we can hear you. I know we had a lot of seats that were empty on the last home game. Do you see it filling out there today?
About average, about what it normally goes, I guess.
Okay, because I know we're, an hour and a half before the game?
An hour.
No, half hour?
Hour.
It's pretty typical, if you ask me, from all the games I've been to.
So is this your first Broncos game, or have you been to others?
This is probably 35. I've gone to plenty.
Dang.
Jeff is from Maine, so Jeff actually flew in cross country to go to today's game with his son. So this is a pretty exciting day. How was it? How was the atmosphere outside?
It was crazy. It was crazy. It looks like there's going to be quite the contingent here today.
Did you go to any tailgates?
We stopped over by Profits. We didn't go in because I met up with super fans. Ron. Met up with Ron.
Yeah.
So we talked for a little bit. But yeah, I mean it's pretty crazy. $50 a park, man.
Yeah.
So Eagles are now here. If you can hear it.
Yeah. So what do you think the keys to winning are? What do the Broncos have to do to stop the Eagles from winning?
Well, I was going to put you on with my son. He seems to think he knows how to stop the Eagles today, if you don't mind.
Oh, no, that's good. That's fine.
My son Noah.
All right.
He knows more than I do about today's game. Hold on one second.
All right. Hey, Noah.
Sweet throwback hat, dude.
So, what do we need to do to stop the Eagles from winning?
Force some turnovers. Jalen Hurts is pretty risky, and we should be able to get a few turnovers. Yeah.
Are you thinking picks or are you thinking fumbles from running?
I'm thinking picks.
Okay.
So
who gets the picks?
Oh, I'm gonna go with Pat Surtain.
Okay.
I think Surtain would be able to get a few picks.
And I'm glad you bring him up because this was one of those that there were reports that he was going to miss several weeks. You know, was going to be back. Games after the bye, and fortunately for us, that was those were erroneous, and he's back and playing today. So I like that thought. So you guys had an opportunity to meet a Broncos legend, and talking about these. The old logo being worn this weekend. You guys met Dennis Smith yesterday. What was that like?
It was pretty cool. Yeah, it was cool. We got a signature, and yeah.
Did your dad share any stories about what his career was like?
He definitely shared a little bit of a story, but it was like 2 minutes, and then we had to go. And yeah.
He was one of the hardest hitters in Broncos history. So
the big question is, since we don't have Alexander Johnson and we don't have Josie Jewell, do you think Baron Browning and Kenny Young can stop the run of the Eagles?
I think it's going to be difficult. I think Jordan Howard and the passing out of the backfield for them could be an issue for us because we've had issues with that in the past. And I mean, Kenny Young is pretty versatile, so we should be able to somewhat stop it, but we could see a few issues with that.
Okay.
What are you What are you guys most excited to see today, and what are your score predictions, each of you?
Well, I'm most excited to see this crazy crowd. I haven't been to a game or a Broncos game in Mile High in a while, so I'm excited to see this. But score prediction, I honestly don't know. I'm going to leave that to my dad.
All right. Oh, passing the buck.
I think he's had enough.
He just passed it off to you. He's like, no, I'm not calling a score.
Rocking the Atwater, though. I like it.
Yeah, I was hoping to see him today, but I didn't. I just have to settle for the Hall of Fame ceremony that we went to.
I asked Noah about Dennis Smith. What was the experience like for you, and what's your favorite Dennis story or any memory of him?
Well, you're gonna have to start giving me some notes before these. Well, the story I told him was my first ever Bronco game was his last. It was the Saints in 1994, Christmas Eve. Wow. The night before the game, me and I think probably between 5 and 10 other super fans hung out the Holiday Inn over by Centennial Airport, and that's where the team had stayed the night before the game. I ended up getting one of those shark tooth hats, those old Logo Athletic shark tooth hats.
Yeah.
I got the whole team to sign it, and it was crazy. I got to meet everybody. That was Wade Phillips' last game. And Dennis Smith, the story I told him was he had actually, one of the fans gave him a Christmas card and escorted him to their vehicle where they had presented him with an oil painting, a painting of him. One of the fans had made him, a personal, gift. And it was back whenever you had a little more access, I guess, to the players.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was that stuck with me. It's my first ever Bronco game, my first ever time. As soon as and I drove from Pennsylvania at the time, from when I lived there. That's where I grew up. But you drive 24 hours, and the first thing you do, you don't get in your room. You drive to Mile High Stadium and walk in.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. But he didn't seem to remember that very good.
Yeah.
I thought that he'd remember that because that's that definitely sticks out. It's like, holy cow, these players are actually people.
Yeah.
And it was nice. It was a good feeling. of course, Elway didn't play that game. I think Hugh Millen played. But, I got my Polaroid with Elway before the night before the game. And I had actually, it was the year that Steve Atwater's contract was up, and there was rumors that he was going to go to the Raiders. And I saw Steve walking into the hotel. I met him down at the end of the sidewalk, and I said, Steve, I love you, man. You're my favorite Bronco. Still is, but please don't sign with the Raiders. You're going to go somewhere else. Don't make it with the Raiders. I was probably 20, 23 at the time. Anyway.
So what do you think is what's your score prediction for the game?
I haven't really thought about it. I'm hoping it's something around 28-20 Broncos, I hope.
Sounds good to me.
So we'll see.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we'll let you enjoy the game.
And Sharon.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for jumping in. We'll let you go and enjoy the game, and we'll get back to finish off this pregame show.
You guys do that. You guys are great. Thank you for having me on.
All right, Jeff. Thanks.
All right. Take care.
Well, that was fun. Copyright hits for the music in the background all over the place. No, it's and again, like Glenn and I went to the Raiders game. That was my second ever Broncos game. I'm telling you, it's a different feeling when you go to a Denver home game than if you go to any other game. It's incredible.
It starts with outside the stadium. There's so much energy. There's so much music. There's so much cooking. There's so much smells. The charcoal. Everyone's excited. And everybody's got a different idea of what they want to do outside. Some people are at the tailgates. Some people are hanging out at the tunnels just to wave and scream at the players. And it's an incredible atmosphere. If you're a Bronco fan and you haven't had the opportunity to go to a game, I would highly recommend it. I think, after the discouraging 12,000 no shows against Washington, for the Broncos to come back and just absolutely dismantle Dallas the way they did last week, I can't imagine there are going to be those types of empty seats with the momentum that the Broncos have and the excitement that the fans have this week.
Right. And then there's Broncos fans that go to games with Glenn and he walks them to the other wrong side of the stadium to go to a DNVR tailgate. And then we got to walk all the way back and climb hills. And yeah, we're getting a scooter next time. Cause
rascal.
Get a rascal. Even one of those scooters you got to push and like with your leg. I'm fine with that too.
The whining was incessant. Yeah.
The whining was incessant. I do not like to walk a lot, so I was whining. But no, going back to kind of the question that I had for Noah was, we do have those newer linebackers in Baron Browning, who's a rookie, and Kenny Young. Are they going to be able to continue to play at the level they have been and stop the run? Are they going to be able to fill those holes that we haven't been able to in that 4-game losing streak?
I think so. I know you guys, especially Mike, I think you really like Josie. I've never been super excited about Josie Jewell or Alexander Johnson. I think that it's kind of just a fill in the blank hole unless you get somebody really dynamic, going back to like a Parsons type of dynamic first round middle linebacker that we haven't had for.
Well, like I'm not going to say that like Josie Jewell is, at a John Mobley or Al Wilson or Ian Gold or, anything like that. But Josie Jewell is the linebacker that I like because I like those linebackers that are able to find the hole, stick in it, and give them a good pop. And that's what Jewell does. Like when he gets outside in the coverage or has to try to catch up to somebody, that's when he gets in trouble. But I love those linebackers that could just hit somebody in the hole and stop the run. And that's what Josie does. Now, when you look at Browning and when you look at Kenny Young, they have a different dynamic. Like it works well together in some weird way. Like they're both good at the same thing and it works. And I love it.
And they're mobile. They, when you saw Josie lining up in pass protection, it was a little bit nerve wracking, but you don't worry about with these guys. They do look the part out there. Kenny is really buying into the whole Broncos culture. People were worried he wasn't going to like it here because, he had just been traded and they'd thrown up on the stage, and, everyone's expecting him to not be confused as to what happened or be totally excited about what happened, but I am really excited to watch these two grow their relationship on the field and with the team. And this could be the future of our linebacking core, quite honestly. If you don't mind me just continuing on, I do have the full list of inactives for the Broncos at this point. So we had mentioned Mike Boone, we'd mentioned McTelvin, Garrett and Massey are on the inactive list. Jamar Johnson, Mac McCain, who we just got back from the Eagles, and Bassey is actually inactive today as well. So, I know that one surprised me a little bit.
So we do have. That means that PS2 is back for the game. He's not out.
He's
okay
back
with the knee
sprain. He saw Kliss and told Kliss personally that he was playing.
Okay. EJ said he's also heading to the game. Awesome.
Oh, man.
Dude, we're going to have to set something up where like all of us get to go to a game and meet up together.
That'd be fun.
That was like a Chris Farley thing.
Richard.
Fat guy in a little coat. Sorry. Let's see here. Yeah, there you go. EJ talking trash. A lot of Eagles fans, they couldn't wait to get out of the dump called Philly and travel to somewhere beautiful. Wow. Ouch. Ouch. Let's see. Jay Bryan says, thank you for having us on. Need not worry. We will be the loudest in our section. I think that was our goal when we were there, was to be the absolute loudest in that section. I was trying. My voice was a little hoarse the next day, so it's okay.
Most of it was from complaining about not having access to a scooter.
It probably was. It probably was. I would have rode that scooter everywhere. Now we know where to go, though. Like, don't listen to Glenn. Do the opposite, and then we.
I looked at the map. Don't trust the map. message Bree. Sure, you're right. Or Prophet.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually, Prophet was. Is he joining us today? Do you know?
No, he wasn't able to get in. I'm gonna have to, because we're trying out a new thing, and so I'm gonna have to check and see if what's going on. Maybe the link was bad. I don't know. Maybe I'll send it to him again, see if he can get it.
JB's connection was great. We need to get Prophet some of those the headset that JB had.
Right?
It was clear and.
All right, so let's see if I can.
But I like Noah's assessment. I think that is a major key. I see more fumbles than interceptions from Hurts, but I'll take a couple of each. Why not?
Right. Let's see. Boom. Nope, that's not it. That's not what I wanted. I'm trying to share screen and it's not. Hold on. There's it working now?
Not yet.
Nope. Still, oh yeah, hold on. There it is. Right there. Boom. How's that? Can you see that?
I like the sound.
Yep.
There, I like that better. Okay. So yeah, this is the game preview that they've got up on ESPN. I mean, you look at Teddy Bridgewater. Now, speaking of Teddy Bridgewater, the most touchdowns he's ever had in the season is 15, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
So, I mean, you got to think he's going to blow that out of the water. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that Teddy's like the answer to the Denver Bronco future quarterback question, but it looks like he's going to have 4,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, and maybe 9 picks, somewhere in there.
Dude, if you said that at the beginning of the season and didn't...
We did!
No, but I'm saying if you said that, most people would have taken that in a heartbeat. But, it's a couple of these poor games really that stemmed from his injuries. People seem to turn on him. Like you said, you have a couple bad games and it's this guy sucks, he can't play. And then you have a couple good games and it's like, these guys are the greatest things, since sliced bread. He goes, you can't listen to either one of those comments because you just have to do your thing. Yeah. I could listen to him talk all day.
And this is what I was talking about with Jalen Hurts and rushing at like 83 carries, 494 yards, and 5 touchdowns. That's more than Gordon's got.
Pookie, I think, is at 466. So
yeah, he's right behind.
So I mean, he and Gordon are closing in on 1,000 yards, just the two of them together. I mean, that's great.
And then Sutton over. Is it Devontae Smith?
Yeah,
Devontae. Okay, rookie, right?
Yep.
All right.
Heisman Trophy winner.
Really? I don't keep.
Boggins is shaking his head somewhere.
But
you didn't know that.
I think you're. Well, I don't watch college as much as I watch NFL. Plus, my team sucks, so I don't. All right. So points per game. The Eagles edge the Broncos on that one, but points allowed per game. Denver's defense only allows 17 points per game.
And again, these stats don't. I mean, our points per game is really bad. From an offensive standpoint. But the fact that when we lost the Cleveland game, we gave up 17 points. When we weren't blown out by the Steelers. The Raiders game was the only game that really seemed to and the Ravens wasn't terrific, but the Raiders game was the one that was particularly bad.
Well, and even the Cowboys, like those two touchdowns they scored, I don't even count those.
Right.
Because those were gimmick.
And those didn't even get to 17 points. So I mean, this is a solid defense. It's a solid team. We've had, not the injury extent as we did last year, but we've had some sizable injuries. I mean, 3 out of the 5 offensive linemen last week were backups, and they performed wonderfully. We had our best running game with those guys. So the backups are not only getting stepping up and doing a good job, they're also getting this game experience that's truly invaluable that you can't replicate in practice. And when we have all these expiring contracts at the end of the year, it's going to really give Peyton a tangible tape on which to judge these players on whether you re-sign somebody or you let one of these backups become the starter next year. There's a lot going on here. Right.
And so we get about 366 yards a game. They get 357. So I mean we're pretty close. We do get more yards passing than they do, and 250 makes sense. I mean that's about where Teddy's at per game. Is about 250. So, with Hurts being the runner of the team, I could see why theirs is a little lower. But that's also why their yards rushing is more than ours are. But again, other than the Dallas game, we've really struggled to keep the running game going. So as long as we can keep and Javonte Williams going, I think we'll be okay.
Well, Mike, it's hard to keep it going when you call 4 running plays in the second half of a game.
But we don't have Shermer,
right? And as much as I've trashed the guy, best wishes to getting healthy, and hopefully he's on the mend. But
and that right there, that's wow, that was dark. There's the key to the game right there.
That was pretty optimistic.
So rushing yards allowed. Denver allows less than 100 yards per game rushing. And I think that's going to be, if you can contain Jalen Hurts. And honestly, Jordan Howard, I didn't think he was bad. I liked him when he was with the Bears. I thought he did a great job. So I think we're definitely going to have to watch him as well. But the two of them combined, Jalen Hurts and Jordan Howard, if we can contain, and that's why I was saying on it was on Nothing Rhymes. It's not so much about blitzing the quarterback and getting sacks. It's about collapsing the pocket so that even if they're trying to run it, we trap them inside. And that's what we need to do. We need to try to contain them in the middle and not let them get outside.
What's interesting, Mike, and I'm veering away from the point you were just making, but looking at this graphic, and I did not realize it before seeing this, Eagles are 3-6 on the season. They're 3-2 away, which means they are 0-4 at home. They are essentially a road team. I don't know what that means for the Broncos, but Broncos are 2-2 at home. They've had a couple lackluster performances, but this is again a winnable game against a team that's shaky and especially in the defensive backfield. So
yeah. And I would even I've heard a lot of reports about how home games don't matter as much now. It used to be when you'd go and play at home, you'd walk into, what was it, Gillette, or was it what's the Colts home field? Lucas Oil.
Lucas
Yeah,
Oil.
Lucas Oil Field.
There was like a home game winning streak. Like, you just didn't lose at home. And nowadays it's Mile High. Nowadays it's not so much like that. And I think, there are certain fan bases, which obviously I think the Broncos is one of them, that are able to change games by how loud they are in the stadium.
Kansas City.
Seattle. Kansas City, Seattle. You get even not Gillette. What's the Ravens?
M&T Stadium.
Yeah, M&T. I was thinking AT&T. No, M&T. Those are all stadiums where it gets really, really, really loud in there. And so if you're able to use the noise from the fans on third down, it's very helpful. And so what we have to do is we have to try to buck that trend, and we have to try to make the home crowd an advantage instead of just not really mattering all that much.
Totally agree. Last year there was no home field advantage because there were no fans. So I thought that would change this year, and leading into this week, and I haven't.
You said a Rector set.
Totally.
Old Mile High was in the Rector set.
Those ramps, but going into this week, the road teams were over 500 for the entire season, NFL wide. So, I don't know if it's gonna flip after this week, but that is shocking. That these, and it seems like there's still fans in the stadium, So yeah. Bronco fans need to come out in full force, especially with Jeff's reports, and I've seen it on Twitter also, that Philly, there's a significant Philly contingent at Mile High right now.
Yeah. Let's see. Johnny, with Hurt's ability to run, who will the spy be today? You got to think it's going to be Browning.
Well, Richie's saying Stearns.
Hopefully we see Simmons closer to the line of scrimmage again. If anybody,
I don't know if you'd want to have a safety as a spy though. That's like, I don't know, because you don't want to have Cooper. Is Reed back, or is he out?
He's back.
Okay. Do we know if it's going to be Reed or if it's going to be Cooper, or are they going to have like an equal rotation?
Haven't heard that. I'm sure Reed is starting. I can't imagine he's going to lose his starting spot in one game.
Well, it would be Reed, and then it would be Reed and Cooper, right? And then Weatherly would rotate in until Chubb comes back, but we don't know when Chubb's coming back yet. Maybe after the bye. Hopefully after the bye. You've got to think it's going to be one of the middle backers, though, would be the spy. Like, you would have either Browning or Young would, and I would say Browning, because he's the guy setting the tone. He's the guy calling the plays. He's the main guy in the middle. You let Kenny Young blitz. You let Baron Browning stay back and spy on Jalen Hurts. I just don't know, because you wouldn't. Maybe K-Jack, and then keep Simmons out and back in case he needs to cover for somebody. I don't know. Let's see here.
We'll know right off the bat, though.
Yeah. Richie says, I'd argue Mile High is still an advantage. We train in altitude. The other guys aren't/don't. Yeah, so I've been watching a lot of All or Nothings and Hard Knocks, going back and watching all those.
Mm-hmm.
When it was the Cardinals, they had to play Detroit and then they had to play Pittsburgh, and they just picked a halfway point in between the two and stayed there for a week and just trained there. I don't understand why teams don't come up to Denver a little bit early, get used to the altitude, and then play. And if I gave away a secret, I'm sorry. I didn't I'm hoping somebody thought of that before I did.
I'm sure they have. Even if you come 6 days ahead, let's say you travel on Monday, you're not going to acclimate that quickly. I don't think personally from Kansas to Mile High and back.
Yeah.
But not only that is then you don't have access to all of your film facilities and training facilities, and it's just go out a day or two and take your chances.
I don't care about the opposing team. They can lose everything they want.
No, I'm saying I'm just suggesting perhaps why they don't do that.
Yep.
Perhaps why your idea was a bad one. Yeah.
So we have, let's see. So it looks like Washington beat Tampa Bay, which is funny. Oh, they haven't yet. It's still playing. They're up 23-19 with 3 minutes left.
Oh my gosh. New England 45-7 over Cleveland.
Yeah. Dallas is up 43-3 over the Falcons. Jacksonville's closing in 20-9. Yeah, 44-7. The Bills are up 38-3. Detroit and Pittsburgh are tied. Washington's up 23-19. And the later games have not started yet. But we're getting close. We're getting close. So let's close it out with everybody's guess of player of the game, final score.
Lead us off, David.
Oh, of course. All right. So we're going to cover. And since the spread is 1, that means we win.
By 1.
No. Actually, okay. So I thought about going with this score because I watched old stupid movie with Scott Bakula, Necessary Roughness. And
yeah.
And Kathy Ireland?
Kathy Ireland.
We're all showing our age right now.
She is so fun.
I know.
Anyway,
I should have pretended I didn't know what you're talking about. I don't have that kind of restraint.
Anyway, so they won their game 22-21, and the other funny Broncos guy, that's good Broncos, Perna, he was going 22-21. So I was thinking, well, maybe that's just meant to be, but I'm going to go 23-20, and I got to go with Javonte as my player of the game.
Ooh. 23-20. I'm trying to remember what I said on Tuesday. I want to say it was
something 17, Mike.
20. I think it was 24-17 is what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a touchdown. So I'm going to say 24-17 Broncos. Player of the game. What?
No, I just.
Oh,
you were like,
yeah. I was thinking on my fingers. That's why my kids never come to me to help with math. Let's see, 24-17. I'm going to go with. I'm going to say Malik Reed's going to get player of the game.
Wow. All right. I'm going to stick with my my thought from Thursday. Last week I changed my prediction between Thursday and Sunday, but I'm going to stick with my 31-17 Broncos, and I think Jerry Jeudy is going to have a fantastic game today.
Yeah. Did you see that tweet from Mario where he was like,
"Oh,
hearing people talking about how the Broncos are going to score 30-something points and
40 points,
40-something points, and that's just not going to happen." Then he goes, "My score prediction: Broncos 45." Pretty good
under a Shula offense.
Yeah. Richie says player of the game is Cooper. Hot take: he supplants Reed after this. 35-21 Broncos. I could see that. When Chubb is back, I could see Cooper playing over Reed. Yeah. Depending on if he keeps going the way he's going. Obviously, right now you got Reed on one side, Cooper on the other. But when Chubb comes back, I could definitely see Cooper taking Reed's spot. But at the same time, when it comes to next offseason, if we have the answer in Cooper and we have Chubb that can play at a high level, do we even keep Reed? Like, do we try to re-sign him? Or do we just stick with Weatherly? Do we let Weatherly go? I hope not, because I like Weatherly. And keep Reed? Like, what do we do?
We're getting some Twitch love here?
I don't know, but they said that they like my beard. So, thank you.
that is
yeah. It's a little less white. I'm getting old with all the kids, so I had to color it a little bit. get the Brown back in it. Let's see.
I could see Malik not coming back if they find out that Chubb's already back next year. And Cooper's obviously under contract for 3 seasons after this. And, Weatherly's a free agent after this, and they're probably going to try to bring him back. It's, it's one of those, it's such a blessing and a curse. It's great to have Bradley come back and have this depth, but it's also been fun to watch some of these other players get these opportunities. So it's certainly but you got to go with your number 5 pick, right? You're not going to bench him.
Yeah. Jay Weaver says player of the game is Teddy with a 24-10 victory. Avatar says 30-17 Broncos. Nice. Let's see. He says player of the game is Jerry Jeudy. I can see that. He actually I love the fact that he Jerry Jeudy coming back opens up the offense more than I think anything else did. It was incredible because even with Cortland Sutton not getting that much as far as production during the Dallas game, Tim Patrick did, and Jerry Jeudy was able to open up things that we hadn't seen in a while because he's been out. So I love the fact that we're able to use Jerry Jeudy to open up the passing game along with the running game.
And that's what you had predicted that, Mike. You said that was going to be. That's why he needed to get back sooner than later.
Fangio's like, Judy's not that great, it doesn't matter. Like, shut up.
Well, that's not exactly what he said, but he said that they don't.
That's exactly word for word, even the word for word what he said.
Yeah, I think it was more along the lines of
spirit fingers.
The Broncos don't, or the other team doesn't have to change the way they prepare when Judy's in the game, which obviously doesn't make sense either. But
EJ says Pookie runs for 100+ wins player of the game. I could see that.
I could. The
other thing is Landon says hot take, and I don't know if it is so much one. The Eagles are held to less than 200 passing yards. I don't know. We're not the only person we're missing in the secondary is Bryce Callahan, starting wise at least.
Yeah.
And so if we're able to shut down the running game and we're able to get pressure on Hurts, I mean, we saw what pressure does in the Cowboys game. Dak did not have any time at all to throw that ball. And so if we're able to get Jalen Hurts is not on Dak Prescott's level. So if we're able to shut down the running game and collapse the pocket so he doesn't have a lot of time to throw the ball, I could easily see him not throwing for 200 yards.
Just keep him from rushing for 100.
Yeah, or just rush for 100 and that's it. No passing, just rush for 100. Keep him down. That's what I say. And I just want to pop this up one more time for Johnny because they like my beard better than yours. So just throwing that up there. Okay, go ahead.
So just some quick score updates. Lions Steelers 16-16 with 51 seconds. Go Lions. We need some of these AFC teams to lose. Colts are up 20-17 with 6 minutes to go over the Jaguars. Go Jaguars. We need some of these crappy.
Go Jaguars.
A minute 16 left. Titans are 23-21 over the Saints. We need the Saints to win. There's a lot of blowouts and some particularly close games that could have an impact on the Broncos playoff seeding.
And I got to say, I am hoping that the Lions win. Just I was telling you guys before we started the podcast, the Lions are one of those teams where their record could swing either way. They could be 5-4. They could be 0-9. A lot of their games ended with a single possession win or a turnover as they were driving for it. They've been close in every game except for a few. So it's I think that they're a well-coached team that's a couple key players away.
The Lions are one of those teams that, if someone offered you tickets to go see a Texans game, you would not necessarily go. You would probably be one of those things where, who are they playing? But the Lions are one of those teams that every game is seemingly competitive, or most of the games have been competitive and last minute. That's a fun team to watch, even though they're 0-8.
Yeah. So Avatar says the Saints are going for 2, tie the game against Titans.
Great.
They just had a flag though. I think it was either delay a game or offsides on the Saints. It was there they go. Pass.
Gag.
Dropped. Nope. Okay, so I had one last question, and then we're gonna go. And this has nothing to do with the Broncos at all. So, like I said, I've been watching All or Nothing and Hard Knocks for the last week. Who gets more bleeps, Bruce Arians or Greg Williams?
I think
I'll guess Arians because I have no idea.
Swearing wise, who gets bleeped more?
Every other word out of Williams' mouth was bleeped.
All right. It was bugging me, and I wanted to ask.
Well, they're coming back with the first in-season Hard Knocks, and it's
with the Colts, right?
It's starting in the coming days. So
and I said this in the group chat and on Twitter, you cannot sit there and convince me otherwise that the Broncos would not have been the perfect team to either have Hard Knocks or All or Nothing this season. Right. You can't. With all the built-in drama that's been going on with the quarterbacks, injuries, and the coaching and the ownership, you can't tell me that the Broncos wouldn't have been perfect on one of those or both.
Well, thankfully, the Broncos have been doing those behind the Broncos. The Broncos media have been producing those, and it appears that there might be another one coming up. It seems like they're teasing us a little bit on those. If you haven't watched those, take a look. Going from pre-draft to draft and afterwards, they're about 20 minutes a piece, and they get you so jacked up.
Yeah. 31 seconds left in the Lions and the Steelers, and the Lions are driving to try to get a field goal.
Oh, come on, guys.
It's fourth and 10 right now. But that's going to do it for us. We got about 20 minutes until the game starts. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, turn on notifications so you can catch all of our content when it's posted. If you also want to help support the MHRT, help support the MHRT Network, you can do that by the link that is in the description below. I want to thank Glenn for joining. I want to thank Dave for joining. Prophet, I know you tried, so we're going to thank you anyways. Jeff and Noah, have fun at the game. Thanks for joining us on the show today. Make sure you catch all of our other podcasts. Broncos Talking Tuesday, MHRT podcast on Thursday, Nothing Rhymes on Friday, all of them at 7654. You can catch the audio versions of every single podcast on all the major podcast streaming services. Links are in the description below. We love you all. We love Broncos country. We love the Broncos. Go Broncos. Should we end it with a mile high five?
Big Otto. Johnny would.
Okay. Everybody arms out. And here we go. Mile high five! God, that wasn't even up, Dave. You're almost as bad as Boggins.
Almost.
Not quite. All right. We're going to head out so we can catch this game. Good luck, everybody, and we will see you on Tuesday.
Peace. Thanks, folks.